I got to know that media is such an influential fact is after the video that went viral of the hacker house which I hosted in Bangalore. Hacker houses are nothing but Discord communities IRL.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of people trying to build different stuff, except not on a server, but in a house. And 700k we raised for hosting these hacker houses. These sponsorships or these investments came out from Japan.
But why Japan LPs? How on earth did you get the Japan connection here?
Japan is declining in population. They're like desperately needing for engineers, founders to come and build something in Japan. What was our approach to them is, you give us the capital, we will help you find the talent. In terms, we will exchange a fee.
When I was speaking to Chandan, he said something like, and then there's this guy who sold his company when he was like 15 or something like that. And I'm like, what the Tell me about that.
There's a funny story.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. I had not slept for a really long time and we just closed the $100,000 deal the night before this podcast. So apologies for not being the most presentable. Where are you coming from?
From near Indranagar.
Ah, right. Okay, so that's not too far, right?
It's not too far.
Right. But how do you like to introduce yourself, right now? Because, when I was speaking to Chandan, I got to know about your work through Chandan, and I'm like, okay, well, you seem like an interesting person. We get to have a chat and get to know you. And then, Chandan is a guy he's been doing like the AI Film Festival. There's some platform now that you guys have quickly created for the AI Film Festival, like where they can host their AI videos. Then there is, another thing. He's doing like 4 or 5 things. What are you doing?
I manage all those 4 5 things. I
So,
literally lead the entire.
are you Chandan's boss?
I wouldn't call that, but I work with Chandan. So context here is me, and Hardeep co-founded this thing called Localhost. Chandan leads the community part of it. So
And what is your role in Localhost?
I overtake care of the operations globally in different countries where we host our houses, host our founders. I take care of the operations, day in, day out, everything.
But what would your title be?
I'm COO and co-founder.
Okay.
That's my title.
Okay.
K is just co-founder. He does almost the same as me. We both are like shoulder to shoulder at operations. And Hardeep's title is co-founder and media. So he takes care of the media side, which is like the AI Film Festival, all the events division, and the community part.
So there are 3 co-founders. One is the COO, one is the media head, and then there's one who's, I believe, the CEO.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, there's something you can dive deeper into a little later, like why this pairing, right, for Localhost. But talk to me about when you're 18, is that correct?
Yeah.
And at that time, I think in Chandan's podcast, he said something like, and then there's this guy who sold his company when he was like 15 or something like that. And I'm like, wait, you sound insane first. Take a minute, hear yourself. And I'm like, what the fuck? Tell me about that.
Yeah. That's natural reaction.
Are you in school?
Yeah, I'm in school.
You're in school right now as we
Yeah,
speak.
I'm in school.
Which school are you in?
No, I just joined university.
Oh, which school were you in?
I was in Diksha in Thani Sandra.
And now which university did you in?
I had to go to NYU, but I deferred it. So I'm like now
National University.
No, New York University.
Okay, NYU. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And now I didn't want to go back to the US because of the issues going around with these international students policy and everything, and just played a little safe and stayed back here and just continued building what I was building.
I also think, would you consider yourself as a mini venture capitalist?
I used to not call it till a few months ago. I turned 18 because of regulatory issues. Maybe, yeah, because like Chandan is the one who started calling me like that, and then everybody else started it.
Yeah.
But low-key, yeah. But publicly, I don't.
So then why don't you want to take that risk? Isn't it very against
No,
your being?
it's not against. It's just I wanted to go a little safer on my side because my mother was also a little concerned about me going away and doing stuff alone. While I used to do all this within my mini cocoon in home, right? So now going away and doing all of this was also a little unsure. And then all the other biases happened with the Trump administration, with the visa issues and the student international body. So I was like, it's it'll be safer like to just continue what I'm doing here, and the bet really turned out really well.
Mm.
Um,
And so, which college did you join here?
I joined Diana and Sagar for bachelor's in technology.
Right, and then do they have like an attendance mandate or anything?
Yeah, it's
So,
there.
how many days do you gotta go?
I almost go every day.
Really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then like
So
evening.
that helps me contextualize. Okay, so this much time of yours is already probably in a block. Now, obviously, you can probably do some stuff while you're in college, but again, that's not like the most efficient, I believe. Okay, now that's that. Can we start at the story of what was your first company that you ended up selling, and
Mm-hmm.
how do you even get the idea?
So I started programming when I was 10. It was not something which I wanted to do. It just happened because of curiosity. So a little bit context. My father works in finance. So I've like seen him work day in and day out on like Excel spreadsheets.
Hmm.
And that was like one of my inspiration to like, I want to be like my father. And my mother comes from a technology and management side. So she used to work at IBM before. So that cultivated me into like technology and finance intersection.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just started programming when I was 10. My school introduced this thing, Microsoft Excel, at the very same timeline. And I used to learn about Excel on my own just because I wanted to be like my father. And during that period, I discovered this programming language called Visual Basic Application within Excel. And that was like my first taste for programming.
And when was this?
Um, like I'm 18, so 8 years back.
Okay.
That's like when I was 10 years old. That was like when I was fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my first taste for programming, and I never really thought of it like job oriented or like I want to be a founder. I just wanted, like, I was like purely out of curiosity and hobby. I used to build stuff. So naturally I started just building macros, working on databases on Visual Basic applications. And
At 10 years old, though, why
yeah,
weren't you playing like video games?
I was not a very video game kind of person. I stopped playing it when I was like at second grade.
What do you think shaped that, right? Like, why were you playing around with spreadsheets instead of video games?
I don't know. Sometimes I also think the same thing, but one thing which I'm really sure was I wanted to be the person whom I admired, and I used to work hard on doing that. So when my father admired him, I tried to be like him. I
Hmm.
tried to work on being like him. So it
Was
just
there any pressure you felt?
no, there was no pressure because I was like purely doing it out of my curiosity. It was really fun, and I never even looked at it as like a job perspective or like I really wanted to get into something by doing this.
Hmm.
It just happened on the path. And yeah, it's like VBA was my first taste for programming, but I also learned at the same time I also learned batch programming just because I was interested in Matrix movie, the green color screen
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
of
yeah.
those. So
The
um,
one that Andrew Tate famously
yeah,
talks about.
yeah.
Okay.
So just based off that, I just started learning programming in these two languages. And pretty much for 3 years, I just learned these two, nothing else.
Yeah.
And the change happened when COVID came.
Hmm.
Lockdown, everyone was at home, online classes. I had plenty of time to do whatever I wanted. And Udemy, my father has this thing called,
No way.
yeah,
Yes,
so
Udemy.
yeah. So my father has this thing in his office where they have to do a mandatory courses,
Hmm.
and my father used to give all the courses to me to do it.
Yeah.
And it was also free back then because of COVID. So I just
And if it
started.
wasn't free, they have these 500 rupee. For 500 rupees, I think you could get like so many different. All were priced at like 8,000, 9,000, but in reality, you could purchase them for 500.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But since it was like a tie-up between my father's company and this, I naturally just got it for free. And I used to like learn all of this. So I used to do my father's courses, which were like understanding ethics of office, and second is programming stuff. And this brought me into web development. I learned my first web development at like grade eight, which is like 13 years.
Yeah.
Um, from then it was
What
like
did you learn? Which language?
HTML, CSS, and Java.
And was that through Udemy or?
Yeah, it was like through Udemy and like YouTube.
Dude, I had the same phase in COVID where like before my online school used to start, I got in a routine where I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and this continued for like 6 to 8 months. So I got a good grasp of like how to code, etc. So then every day, and dude, this was in relation. I have no idea why I did this,
Uh,
but I'm glad I did because now at least I have some level of understanding with whenever I do deal with code, I can understand it and move shit around and talk to AI and vibe code a little bit now, right? Which you know is a huge advantage now because all I did was I went to Udemy, I bought a few courses,
mhm.
and I reached the part where my JavaScript got good enough to start playing with React. But then when I got to React, my brain started exploding, and then I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. So that was my coding arc. It lasted like a good 6 months.
Yeah, it was really good. I think a lot of people have gone through the same phase, and they would have probably burnt out at React. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's the cases with everybody. Yeah, same thing. Started with web development, started building mini projects in web games just for the fun, and then moved to like React. Same journey.
Hmm.
Um, and during this time, I found out this platform called Replit.
Hmm.
Replit was like
Back then,
back then it was like the best.
really.
Yeah, yeah. So I paid $0 for hosting.
Hmm.
So Replit used to host your site based on your username. So it used to be, let's say I have a project called Hot Dog, and if I have the file name as Hot Dog and the project name as Hot Dog, my domain would be hotdog.suhasumuk.replit.co.
Yeah.
That used to be my domain. I should not pay $1 for a domain.
Yeah.
And I used to do multiple projects under a single domain.
Did GitHub pages last? Like, were they a thing back then?
It was a thing back then, but it used to be your username.github.io and slash project. Used to
Hmm.
be feel very awkward to do a slash project.
Okay.
Instead, having a project name under the subdomain was much cooler, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at, like, you see, it'll be movies.netflix.com
Yeah.
is much better than having netflix.com/movies.
Okay.
So my brain was like, Replit was better. And plus, Replit was not as how it is now with AI bots running around and doing vibe coding, as you said.
Hmm.
It's more of like an online low code IDE, and we could host it for free. So I had all my projects just hosted on Replit, and it should be free, like until you hit like certain GB or like file size on a particular project. You could like host probably like hundreds of projects for free.
Yeah.
And literally, I did that. I used to like do mini projects and host all of them. And during this time, ninth grade was when I started like focusing on building something of my own as a venture of myself. The
Well,
reason,
just what gave you the ick to do that?
um, the reason being, I got to know about social network,
Hmm. Did you
movie,
watch the movie?
yeah, the
Okay.
movie Social Network, which
And you were
got
like, shit, so cool.
yeah, so cool, right? Like everybody just comes together and builds something. I could do something like that. I have
Yeah.
the time now. Um, so
In
what?
ninth grade, wait, which grade was this?
Yeah, ninth grade.
Ninth grade, yeah. You feel like you had the time
Yeah,
instead of studying for
like
10th boards.
10 words comes like a year later.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Okay.
But ninth was also like half COVID.
Yeah.
So started building something of my own. And also I was part of these mini Discord dev communities, which
Yes.
kind of helped me like with all my debugging help, um, other sort of like programming help. But one part which I regret not having, which regret not having back then was marketing. I didn't know how to like sell projects before.
Or distribute, basically.
Yeah, I was like not a socially active person. I did have like Twitter and everything, but I was not like so active there. But either way, started doing. I just called this one thing called Neurifix, and I as a project name. And below that, I used to build mini apps.
Hmm.
So one was like text to handwriting. So why I build this app? There's a funny story. Ninth grade, we got this notes.
So, like computer written
Yeah, so
text from keyboard
uh,
to make it come to your notebook,
yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
So the reason why I built this was my school used to send me digital notes, and they asked me to write it back and send it as a homework
Yeah.
and internal assessment. And it used to like one of the most dumbest thing you could do
Yes.
being in online school. So what I did was I built a tool where you could literally upload the file or just copy paste the file in a text field, and it used to convert it to a notebook handwritten. So the
And then
mechanism here
it was
was,
slightly randomized, right? I'm gonna
yeah, it was
guess that
slightly randomized.
you feel
So
like each thing.
yeah. So it used to use this thing called a artificial hand analysis, which is it's trained on thousands of handwritten images on the internet and randomizes based on any picture. It's just like the curves are in the same size. It's just like mostly like just algorithm and image matching tool. But it worked like a charm, and I launched it on Replit community, and it got like 30,000 hit in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it at one time it had like 300K.
And that was the only marketing you did for that?
Yeah, I mean, I never knew marketing, and the only way Replit used to upvote your project was based on community.
Mm.
And they had the community before. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Replit these days, like if they have a community there. But before, you could see multiple people whom you follow, what projects they used to do. And every time you publish, it used to appear on their homepage, and you used to see like topic of today from the person you follow. Check
Mm.
this with the number of upvotes.
Sort of like Product Hunt, but
It's sort of like Product Hunt.
back then.
Yeah, but more like a scrapey ideas
Yeah,
going around. It's not like a fully furnished
got
projects.
it.
That went viral. I recently met a person during a dinner with with few VCs here in Bangalore, and he happened to have used my app, and he was just flaunting around it saying, "Yo, in during my college first year, there was this guy who built a text-to-handwriting app."
And it was you?
And it was me, and I was in the same dinner, and then he just showed me some of the pictures of my old app, and it's just like nostalgic to see people had used it back then.
Back then. It's still out there right
Yeah,
today?
I sold that. It's not with me
Yeah,
now.
but then
It is
is
there.
someone else still operating it?
I'm not sure. He bought up the data set, and I'm not sure what he did with it.
Okay.
But that was one of my first mega hit for any
How
project.
did you monetize that?
No, like I told you, right? I did not know anything about
Yeah.
marketing and
So then how did
monetization.
the selling process go?
After this got viral, there were multiple people asking for my data sets, because this was before ChatGPT came out and happened to be like an indie project.
Hmm.
And that's when I did not know what was the ballpark to give to sell a project, what was the pros and cons of it. I was not sure about it.
Hmm.
And I sold this at like 15, which was like 10th, like exactly when my boards was going on,
Yeah.
when my boards were going to start. And I sold it in all cash crypto.
All cash crypto. You received crypto 8 years ago.
Um, 4 years,
No, 5 years ago. Okay, still
4 years,
decent.
3 years.
Right. And you kept it in crypto?
Yeah, you stable coins.
Okay. Okay, so in stable coins.
So it avoided tax. It avoided all the regulatory
I
issues.
don't think you can say that, can you?
I mean, fair enough,
You can't
but
avoid tax, right?
you
Technically, at that
you
age.
can if you take it in crypto until you convert the crypto to INR.
But even if you're holding in crypto, isn't that considered as income?
No,
That can't be right.
it is until you have connected yours to an exchange where you.
But then doesn't the exchange normally have your PAN card?
Yeah, that's why I didn't have my PAN card back then.
Yeah, exactly. So I have no idea how income would be treated for a minor, right? So then what, how much do you sell it for?
I sold it 5,000.
What do you do with that?
It is there, bro. I started a venture mini micro grant out of it.
Okay,
I call it EVM Capital.
yeah,
So out of Localhost, I have another subsidiary running called as EVM Capital,
right.
where I give micro grants like $100 to $500 to like ambitious teenagers trying to build something.
Okay, just
So
like spread across multiple.
multiple sectors, but part of it is still there. Most of it, like I just used on like supporting young builders within my community to kind of help them out.
At that time, though, when you did receive 5 grand as a 15-year-old, did you not think of, going and spending it on something or?
There was nothing for me to actually go and spend it on, to be fair. One being I was still in school, so I didn't have any liability or like any responsibility of paying bills,
Yeah.
paying any expenses. That's like a very good positive outcome of being a young founder.
Were you like always top of the class?
No, I was not.
Not at all?
No. I was not.
How are you?
I was I was top of the class, but not like very top, like decently good.
Okay. Okay. And then from there, how did you get to Localhost from
So
that point?
that point was the changing point. And after I end up selling it, I met Kay on Discord. So I met 5 people on Discord. It was Kay, Andrew, Michael, Jay, and yeah, 4 people, sorry. So 4 people I met on Discord. and we used to like play around with some stuff like indie hacking and building stuff. But before this, I also had a day job. After I sold this company, I got a job as a founding engineer for a US based company. Based off my GitHub and based off my Replit and all
Yeah.
the other projects, I was hired by this company, B2C based company out of Minneapolis, and then started working with them. I worked for like a year before I moved to another job. It was like one of my most stressful time of my life because I was like the third hire or fourth time. I forgot, but yeah, that was like one of the
Did they give you
fourth hire.
equity for that?
Equity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had equity, but it was like on a vested period. But I
You
ended up
left before the
left even
cliff.
before it. Uh, but um, but yeah, I had a lot of learning experiences there as working with teams because I never worked with a team. I was a solo founder, and that experience taught me how to work with a team, how does operations flow, and there's like a lot of learnings that happened over there.
Mm.
And partly why I left was because it was stressful. I had to work with EST time zone. My board exams were coming up, and I also had to focus on my academics, so I took a break from it. So partly these two reasons why I left it. But after the exam period and everything, when I started my 11th grade, I got into crypto full time.
What do you mean by getting into crypto full time, like trading?
Not trading, the development side of it.
Okay.
So I I attended this thing called Solana Hacker House. So Solana runs this large hacker houses across the world. It's a 4 day event where they bring in founders, designers, developers who wants to learn about the ecosystem and grow. And I went there. I met a lot of folks, and I went there because of the price hype.
Like of
Solana,
Solana?
yeah, Solana was like trading at 230 something, and I wanted to learn more about like cryptocurrencies and digital economy, but I came out being bullish on how they are changing the ecosystem. And there's this community called Super Team. Do you know about Super Team?
Nope.
So Super Team is this collective community of designers, founders, and developers, and it's a very gate kept community. If you have proof of work, you get access to it. And it was co-founded by Tanmay Bhatt and Neil, Akshay, and Cash, like four people, and they run across the world. They're one of the most densely populated or like dense talent layer for Solana. And I wanted to be part of some elite community like this.
Hmm.
So I happened to work on crypto for a period of time, which involved building decentralized apps, building few projects, contributing to open source. During this time, I finally got to be a part of Super Team, and when I was contributing to all these main big repositories of Solana, a HR of this company called Dodge Capital ended up seeing my commits and
Doge or Dodge?
Dodge Capital, DOGE, Dodge Capital.
Doge.
I mean, they call it Dodge.
It's like that meme coin.
Yeah, meme coin,
Yeah.
but not exactly affiliated to the meme coin. This is a subsidiary of it. There's a venture studio.
Okay.
So they had multiple products. So one being NFT marketplace, where they used to sell NFTs for like for for all the wearable items. So your T-shirt can be an NFT, your cap can be an NFT, specs can be an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to sell these for other NFT assets, so you could like merge them and become like compounding prices. They were expanding that platform and they were looking for new devs, and they happened to see my repository commits, and I was hired by them for like working on it. And I did end up signing it because I didn't know what to build after like a long period of break after my board exam and everything. So I committed to it, worked for like 8 months there, and here was the real game. I like what happened.
Hmm.
I learned so much about working with 10 to 20 people team. How do we sync everything? And literally my entire learning just came from two organizations.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just
One is the
yeah,
US
the US one is
startup
this
in Minneapolis, and then
and then the Dubai-based company, Doge Capital. Now it's
yeah,
called Merkle Labs. They pivoted.
Mercor Labs.
Merkle Labs, Merkle, Merkle
Okay.
Labs. They pivoted. Now they are like a marketplace for Solana Venture Studios. Um, yeah, they're doing decently well. They used to trade around like a million to $20 million in like trading volume
Hmm.
on the exchange. So it was a fun period of time. And on the side, I used to always talk to Kay, Michael, and Andrew on Discord, and we had like a very good friendship. So we had to apply for colleges in few years. And for applying for colleges,
I'm assuming at your two jobs you were getting paid.
yep,
How much were you getting paid?
a, a decently good amount, but it was all crypto again.
Why? Why? Why?
So the reason why they do crypto is you get the market validated price. It was the bull run, so of course they were pegging it to the market. But if it was not, ideally, I think most of the crypto companies do pay you in stable coins, but unless if they're like a mega giant like Coinbase, or if they are like any other top exchange like Binance, I think they do like an all cash, only cash. But
So then,
mostly
okay, even if
startups.
you're accepting it in crypto, even then,
Mhm.
if you think that, the pay was good, why would you still be looking at going to college?
I have Asian parents.
I'm sure, but can't you convince them otherwise when the bank account is, going up?
Mm, I mean, that's a valid point, but no, they were like they really wanted me to go to college, and somewhere I felt it was a safety net for me. I was not into like risk taking at all. I played it very safe as a founder, as everything.
Hmm.
Um, but uh, but yeah, I started preparing for college, and all of us are like same age. Kay is also 18,
Hmm.
Andrew is also 18. We all started preparing for college, and we were aiming for the US. So there's this essay which you have to write mandatorily asking why do you want to join this college and what's the best community you have built around yourself or empowered. So to answer this question, we started a Discord server and we tweeted it out, and like 60 people joined for like 3 months, and we just kept it for the sake of college applications. Nothing too fancy, nothing too non-profit type. It was just something we wanted to do for college applications. But the pivotal moment came when we discovered the power of community, and we could do something much better over here.
Hmm.
And we converted the Discord server into a hackathon series. So we started hosting mini hackathons for like student developers, software engineers.
And what were the prizes?
So we first hosted our first hackathon. All first three were offline, and we raised around $5,000 to $10,000. All purely sponsorships, nothing as a fund or something. It's purely sponsorships, and we gave out all. We never took profit out of it. We wanted to bring some sort of like we wanted to be like MLH. You know MLH, right?
What does that stand for?
So MLH is like this top tier hackathon community called Major League
Hmm.
Hacks.
Okay.
So we were planning on becoming something like that. So we wanted to bring a lot of impact and
So that time you just wanted to become the ultimate hacker house.
um,
Sorry, the ultimate hackathon.
hackathon,
Yeah.
hackathon series. So we used to host back to back. We should not take a break at all.
Okay.
So we started off in August 2023.
And how do you convince your first sponsor at that time?
We asked them $5,000. It was the first sponsorship we raised.
Yeah.
So one being we would do marketing for you. You would have like logo placements, the basic ones.
Hmm.
And for 5,000, you don't have to convince too much for it. So naturally, a lot of like 3-4 companies came in, and we raised like $5,000, and we gave it as prize money. First prize money as 2,500, and another thousand
Yeah.
five hundred
Yeah.
and 500, something like that. We used to do split and give it to all the participants. So we hosted the first hackathon in August, the second hackathon in September, and then October. So three hackathons back to back. One
Hmm.
being $5,000, $10,000, and another $10,000. And then we wanted to do it much bigger and offline. Now all of this are like online, and there were like 120 to 200 people participating. And we wanted to move it to offline. So we hosted our first hackathon in Bangalore at Blue Lawn's office.
At which office?
Blue Lawn's office.
Okay.
So there was this thing called Bubble India Summit, and we were like one of the sponsors and hosts for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we hosted the first hackathon there. It was a no-code hackathon. Fairly like 50 people to 100 people came in and participated. And it was the first offline hackathon we hosted. And
Mm-hmm.
ever since then, we just hosted back to back on the four offline hackathons. One in SF, two in Canada, and Toronto and Vancouver, and one in London.
This time, who are your partners?
It was same K, Andrew, Michael, Jay.
Okay.
Here's the story. What happens after this? We got burnt out fully hosting hackathons. Though they were fun, there was a lot of energy in
Were you
hosting
getting
it.
paid?
No, no, no,
Nothing at
nothing.
all. Just hosting them.
Yeah, just hosting them. Like the last
Were you
five,
meeting cool people at least?
yeah, cool people. Like that's one of the trade-off which we had. Instead of getting paid, we used to meet cool people, and we were growing our network with while hosting all of this.
Yeah.
And
At this point in your life, you're going in the 11th, 12th grade, I'm
yeah,
guessing.
that was in 11th.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was hectic, but it was fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the last five hackathons, which was from Bangalore offline hackathon to the London hackathon, we raised around 200K, and we had spent like 50K, 40K per event. Zero money we took, by the way.
Yeah.
All given out, all given as prize monies, sponsorships, and everything. So we had over we had over 500 projects being um being submitted out of these hackathons. We had over 2,500 people participating in all of this. So it was a pretty good number for like 6 months stats.
Mm.
And after that, we got tired. We wanted to do something, but we didn't know what to do because we were so tired of hosting hackathons. It is one being tedious, it's one being again raising a fund to like help host hackathons, and secondly, it's again going to be rigorous in terms of operations. So we just sat down and thought, why do people come for a hackathon? As for the prize money, one. Second is of course like to grow your network, and third is for your certificate for like your
Winning.
winning all the certificates you require for like if you go for like placements or anything, these were the only three pros which people needed to go for a hackathon. What if we give all three and you don't have to participate? So we were thinking in terms of that, and that's when we got tapped into venture capital. But here we invest in people. It's not something where we just give money and we go away. And to do this, we had a lot of regulatory issues because we were 17, 16. We couldn't call it a fund. So we used to call it a fellowship and a program. We raised 300K for it, all cash by some of our investors in Japan, Singapore, the EU.
At this point, it was all the four of you.
It was three of us now.
What happened to one guy?
Michael got a job at Helio. It was a crypto company, so he went to work there
Okay.
as a founding engineer.
And then who do you guys raise from?
We raised from like family offices, few investors, like angel ones, and yes, some folks, random folks on Twitter, which we
Hmm.
who were like open for angel investments.
And then what was the structure here, right? Because, you did mention that it's a fellowship or like even let's say an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
But then how would this even be structured legally? Because traditionally venture capital funds, when you're registering them, you have to register like two or three different companies, one for, just the main thing, then one for yada yada yada. So how did you structure this?
So K sold his company when he was 13, and there was like a subsidiary division of the company which was still active. So we used to pull in the money to that entity, and that's how we used to operate as a company. And we never legally registered it.
Now, where was this one registered?
Um,
His company.
Currently,
His company, yeah.
oh, his is
At
Japan,
that time.
Japan.
Okay.
Um,
And then you guys raised from which LPs? Like, okay, assuming the LPs were global, maybe a lot were from the States, no?
not actually from the States. They're mostly from the East Asia,
Okay, so
Singapore, Japan,
mm, so then they had
all of this.
less problems basically.
Yeah, there's less problems, and most of the people who were in the States were also from Asia, so none of them were like U.S. citizens.
Hmm.
So it was easy for them to transfer from the family office of India, or family office in the Singapore, Hong Kong, or like Japan. So that was like easy.
How do you navigate the legal work?
We did have like few people who helped us initially. Some of those being our early sponsors, early sponsored companies who did our first hackathons.
Hmm.
We took some advice from them and structured it. A lot of good mentors along the way who helped us. So we did raise 300K for it, and we raised it in a way.
And sorry, again here, what was the structure? Because was it, let's say 2% carry or what was
The
the?
carry fee, we since it's a very, very mini fund,
Yeah.
we took a carry fee of 0.25%.
Okay.
Very, very minimum. We didn't know how it'll end up. We were just experimenting.
Hmm.
So it was really a small fund
And
and
then any
very organic.
management?
No management fee.
No
No
management fee at
management
all.
fee at all. We wanted to experiment, and they were also open for us to like test it out with it. So fairly, we
So
agreed
that,
on.
if you were testing it, why not take like slight management fee to just be able to do stuff?
We wanted to prove that we could find talent, and based off the metrics and success, we could bargain for a higher fee. And
So based off results
based off
of
results,
your fund
fund first,
one,
first fund,
technically.
as technically
And
not a
how did
first
you guys raise with no track record?
track record being one which we both were like exited founders, me and Kay. Second being we did host hackathons and had like a significant number of talent being attracted. And third, the number of projects being like lift off and submitted and like the talent pool which we got in. Very, very nuanced numbers, but and very niche numbers, but it helped us get the
Worked for the
conviction.
fund
Oh
one,
yeah,
300K. It's not, the largest fund.
it's not a large
So
fund, and
super.
it
No.
made it made very fair for us to like have a a
And how
$500,000.
long did that take you?
It took us until last year August. Yeah,
Okay,
last year
so
August.
time period between you when you decided that, okay, I think this is
It
what
was
we want to
like
do.
now it was December of 2023 to like June, max June. We were almost done with June. And
Did you have a number in mind that, hey, you want to raise this amount?
no. We wanted to first see how much we could raise, and we did feel little hard in like initial stages. So we actually thought of raising like 1 million, but then it was realistically not possible with with the very small track record. So we went on playing it a little slower, and we went like half a mil. Then we came to 300K, and we were sorted on with 300K.
How were your first few meetings or even like outreach messages to get people to invest in your fund?
One, we had warm connects because um all the founders who acquired us had like warm connects. So based off the warm connects we got, one being that, and the cold connects from them itself.
Hmm.
We never went out outreaching to people. The
Okay.
only people we went outreaching was angel investors on Twitter.
Mm.
Um, Pretty much I just remember reaching out to only those people, and 90% of them were ghosted us. It's like the very micro few people who got on a call, and that converted to like 0.5% of
Yeah,
people. But mostly it came through warm connects,
makes sense.
based off like the people whom we had our support. So with the track record and their vouch for like the products we had built and the mentorships which we had gotten from them, that played also a significant role apart from the smallest of the smallest track records we had. So it compounded in getting us like the first conviction and raised the 300K.
Okay, got it.
And after this, we focused on acquiring talent in North America specifically. Reason being, of course, the US attracts the best talent across the world. You will find any person building something which is unique. If not unique, at least the person is trying.
Hmm.
It happens in the US and Canada mostly. Waterloo, for example, and of course, the US, most of the universities. So we first targeted the US founders based on high school dropouts, university based founders. And we randomly started going into their Twitter DMs and LinkedIn DMs and started saying, hey, I like what you're building, and we were thinking of we're trying to do a mini grant and investment to see if you're a good fit. Would you like to join on a call? And surprisingly, a lot of people got on a call with us. We did like 200 calls, I guess, assume. I'm lost count of the calls we have done so far,
Hmm.
but we used to get on a call with them. We used to ask them what they're building, and we used to not do all these market analysis and anything. We used to fair off do it based on the vibes, the projects, and how well they are like trying to solve or build a solution. And we did like 10 investments out of those. And
Are there
today,
any doing like really well today?
yeah. So most of them were climate tech, hardware significantly.
Climate tech isn't doing that well, right?
No, it's doing
Overall.
well. It's one of the best performing portfolios of ours.
Okay.
So it's called Fora. It's Fora.us. We did the pre-seed, and now They raised their seed round early
You
this
did
year,
their pre-seed
pre-seed.
instead of like a safe?
It was a safe.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was a safe. Then they raised the seed round early this year, and potentially they are gonna go Series A end of this year, like December end or mostly next early sometime. They are in talks for Series A.
Nice.
So they are like one of the best performing bets we have done.
And that was
Serious.
through cold DM.
Yeah, most everything was cold DM. Like the initial fund, everything was cold DM.
And what was your criteria for selecting these folks?
Vibes, as I told you, it was
Ah,
vibes.
they tweet nicely.
They tweet nicely, they talk
Ah, they've
nicely,
got good design.
they got good design. Yeah, exactly, all the basic stuff. And secondly, the founder thinking,
Mm.
throw any question at them, they have the most strategic answer, not a very vague answer like, we'll figure it out on the way or something like those who like typical 90% of the founders say.
Hmm.
So who had like clear goals and directions. So we used to scout for these people and give money. So one being Farah, second being AI SaaS company called Fleet. I think now they're like renamed to Volt. So we did their pre-seed along with Z Fellows and a couple other angels. It's still evolving out of stealth slowly, but yeah, that's one.
And have you been co-investing with any other folks that, you know,
Recently we started. This year onwards we started
with which folks?
co-investing with family offices, not
Okay.
like a VC firm. A VC firm, the reason why it's hard for us to co-invest is they bet on a very high valuation because they have the surplus cash. We can't bet with that high valuation even if we co-invest because arbitrage of numbers are going to be high. Co-investments should be at least like 60% the VC fund puts, 40% we put. It'll be like
Like perhaps, smaller.
exactly, but
So if you, just as an example, if you co-invested, not co-invested, but Z Fellows also invested in that previous company we were just speaking about. I think Z Fellows also invest smaller amounts,
yeah,
but then in very specific type of
very
people.
specific. They're
And don't you guys have like overlap there, technically?
not really. So Zflows has this terminology where you get $10,000 at a $1 billion valuation. It's up to you if you want to take that valuation or not. And if you're a good funder, of course, you will not take 10K for like a $1 billion valuation. You will go for like a 10K grant or something with Z Fellows gives. And when you have some backing and some conviction from Z Fellows has a great track record. Corey has one of the best track records of investments and everything. So when you have somebody like that, it's natural for us for any VC firm to come and invest with them. But luckily for us, Z Fellows identified this founder exactly at the same time when we were writing them a check. So it
Hmm.
did not overlap, it just coincided with what happened.
Hmm.
And post that, everything else fell into place. So like
Then you
the,
could technically think of like a partnership with Z Fellows, right? So wherever they sort of
not officially,
unofficially. Yeah.
not unofficially also, it just happened to be this person.
Hmm.
Then it never happened to anybody else. But that's one case. The other is Lectra. It's a hardware device, like the Omi device, which goes here. You know Omi, right?
No.
So Omi is that wearable hardware which you can wear and listen 24 bars and it returns to a conversation,
Hmm.
goes back and gives you a summary of what happened in your day.
Ooh, really, that exists?
That exists.
Okay.
It's something like that, but it's for your health. It monitors 24 bar 7 here.
Isn't that like a Whoop?
Now it's Whoop, but this was before that. And it's not like a band. It used to stay here and it does all of it. Not only steps, it does your inner body fat, it does all the it's designed with a doctor and a professor, so it's done scientifically towards that.
Hmm.
It was like a side project, it ended up being a company now. So that shift happened and other certain few more people still evolving out of stealth. Since most of them were like hardware, it takes time for them to mature and come out, but it was a fairly good bet which we did. And last year around June, we kind of exhausted all of it, and we were figuring out what to do next. And we were also kind of little dry on the timeline. Like June to November of 2024 was completely dry. One one being I was busy with my 12th boards coming up, preparing for the JEE exam, SAT exams, all the other
Hmm.
university
Hmm.
paperwork. So it was a little dry for me and Jay. And then K was also a little busy with all the other homework.
So how much of the 300K is deployed?
All 300K is deployed.
Okay. And
And
then what about follow-on investments,
follow
etc.?
on. So follow on, we raised 700K next.
Okay, I guess we'll get to that part now. But then with the um 300K, what was the fund life that you expected, or did you promise that at all?
We didn't promise that because we told them if we get the best talent, that's when we're gonna invest in them. We just don't want to hurry with a timeline saying, hey, I'm just gonna empty this fund and come back to you for a fund too. So we took our pace of time finding people and giving out. And partially, not everything was like an investment. Out of the 300K, some we did grants.
Hmm.
Like we did like $1,000 to $10,000 grants, and some perks for people. So assume like 100K was given in grants, and the rest 200K was in investments.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
so the grants, why we do grants is it's a litmus test for founders if they can build something with limited capital resources, which can give us a proof that they can do something big with larger capital access. So not we don't give direct investments to every founder we meet. Sometimes it's a grant, or sometimes it's investment, or sometimes it's nothing. So it's either of these three.
Hmm. Makes sense. And then how did Localhost actually come about to be? So, 300K, from what you're telling me, was deployed through Twitter DMs. I'm guessing most of these were online, or all of them might have been just online
It was
meetings,
all online.
and then deciding on it, and then investing,
Yeah.
right? Then what about the hacker houses? How did that all come to be? And then what about the 700K fund too?
So since the dry period was going around November, we were also thinking about how do we bring people to build something together, and we happened to get the idea of hacker houses, where you it was a Discord community again. Hacker houses are nothing but Discord communities IRL,
Yeah,
like a bunch of people trying to build different stuff, except not on a server but in a house.
yeah.
And we were running as a Discord server ourselves. So we just transitioned it into a hacker house. And 700K we raised for hosting these hacker houses. This was
How
sponsorship.
did you raise that?
This was sponsorships. These were like half sponsorships and partially a fund.
How do you structure both sides, right? Like sponsorships, what do the sponsors get? And then for the fund, right, the fund part of it, are you just deploying capital into the founders who are coming into the hacker houses, and then you see the promise in either, and then basically give them grants or investments?
January this year, when we raised 700K,
How did
sponsors.
that
So,
process even go
yeah,
though?
I was going to say that. So sponsorships are not those people who give money and be like the expected deliverables. A sponsorship in our case was somebody who loved the idea of what we were going towards and just wanted to help us, like purely no strings attached
But
grounds.
then how did so many people know about your idea? Because I feel like half the game is like any guy who has an idea, there are going to, we're billions in population. There's likely going to be 99% of people will hate your idea. 1% are going to absolutely love it and give you money. But
Exactly.
then the key is in getting your idea in front of enough people. How do you do that?
We told our existing people who we raised from that we want to shift to IRL aspects and help us get to that. And they
So the
love the idea.
existing
Existing
LPs.
LPs connected to us who also aspire to build startup societies.
And then did you ever use any my brain isn't functioning well, but is this a metaphor? A metaphor like this for X for Y, right?
No,
Like, did
like
you use
Uber
any?
for.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we never used that.
What would you say you're closest to right now?
For closest right now.
Yeah,
Right now we operate in three
in that
parts.
metaphor.
In matter for it, we would say we are a school for founders and builders who want to go all in on their ideas.
Are you Y Combinator decentralized? Like in several locations and a little less
We,
formal.
I would say we are network school decentralized.
Okay.
You know network school, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we are network school. I wouldn't say in Y Combinator because Y Combinator is sure you're gonna get investment.
Yeah.
But with us case, you may get or may not get, but you get to be part of a community. That depends based on how well you perform in the house or
Hmm.
how well your product goes. So I would say it's network state, but decentralized.
Okay.
That
So then
I would phrase it like that.
back to the funding part, 700K, you told your existing folks, then they love the idea. And how is this capital then structured? Sponsorships and then fund.
fund.
What are both? Like,
Why
explain
both?
those. No. Explain what the sponsorships mean in this
Okay.
regard, I
So
guess.
sponsorships are those who wanted to support us irrespective of what was the outcome.
Hmm.
So around 200K was given in sponsorships.
So, what do they get?
They didn't get anything. These were like family
So, are
offices.
these donations?
You could call it a donation,
Right, to
but it
just
was like
support the mission in a way. But
it
then why would someone be that generous?
here's the caveat, which would be they would get access to the top talent we have.
To hire them.
No, to invest in them in case they end up going bigger, where they would partner with Localhost and extra fund in some money to invest in them.
So, in terms of the contractual
So
side,
like sponsorships, basically, some expect good talent, others are pure generous people who want to just support young people trying to do something. But in terms of in terms of people who are expecting like a talent layer, we act like a talent engineering funnel for all of these guys.
so then what would be your contractual obligations to the folks who are expecting talent or like some return in from terms of, sourcing folks? Like contractually, like what would you be
So
bound to do?
So one being this is because these donations or like these sponsorships or these investments came out from Japan, and one being Japan has not really great founders because all of them end up going to the West Coast to build in SF or in New York, right? And all the funds in Japan ends up not getting that level of good confidence founders to invest in. So what they do, what was our approach to them is you give us the capital, we will help you find the talent. In terms, we will exchange a fee, which you told the management and carry fee. But we are not that significant still today because we still want to structure this with good returns first and then probably go higher on it. So that's one thing which we did as a funnel layer to all the large organization or VC funds based in the East Asia division and who wants to look for like these underdog founders. And secondly, the fun part is again where we host, get these founders and we invest in selectively top 1%. That was the same criteria of how we raised before. But except this time we showed with the track record of our investment and how they performed. Like
All right. So just based off momentum of your
momentum,
previous
exactly.
investments, right?
And I feel that was like a much made sense for us rather than we could have gone and raised like 3 million.
Two
Did not make sense,
questions
right?
here. With that 500K, technically that you raised as the fund
Mm-hmm.
to 700K in total, um, out of that, how much of it was just your previous LPs and how much was it like new LPs as well?
90% were like previous.
Okay,
Yeah.
90% was just
Yeah,
previous.
90% was previous, and this like 10% were new ones based off the word of mouth they gave, and sponsorship were completely new.
Okay,
And
sponsorships.
some were like partly like some people were existing in that as well, but some people were new in that.
So then how are you hosting that? Where's the money for the hacker houses coming?
Sponsorships. 200K is enough for us to host the houses
For how long?
for probably 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
So
Like rent,
rent,
etc.
see, rent costs
Especially when you do
10,000.
this in, prominent cities, like more expensive cities. If you do this in
That's the
SF or
reason.
London.
That's the reason why we do not operate in SF and New York still.
Okay.
So we are operational in we were operational in Bangalore, in Japan, in Romania and Paris.
What are your costs?
So Bangalore, it costs $10,000 per month, include
$10,000 per month
per month, and we
in
hosted
Bangalore?
yeah we hosted only for 1 month, so not something to
Ah.
worry. It's gonna cost us 120K easily for like a year.
Oh, sorry. These hacker houses, they're not perpetual.
They're
These are
perpetual.
concentrated like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
month, 1 month, 1 month
One
in
month.
certain
We
locations.
randomly hosted like a month.
Okay,
That's why I told you we are network state, but we're decentralized. So we just
got
host
it.
like pop-up cities.
Okay,
So they cost 10K. Romania is also 10K. Paris is also at a little higher on the
and are
end.
you going to all these places?
No,
Why not?
so I went to Japan and in Bangalore, but K lives in Switzerland, so he travels to Paris and Romania, so it's there. So we both operate on different. different
Parts of the world.
locations.
Okay.
It's just not required for us to go there. And we just have like this one person in-house to keep running the operations, who himself is a builder. The only thing is he gets like free accommodation and all of those, and
And then,
he gets to stay there.
so I don't know if I asked, but why Japan LPs? How on earth did you get the Japan connection here?
Japan is declining in population.
They're declining in
Yeah,
population.
they're declining in population and they want to have some founders there. And they're like desperately needing for engineers, founders to come and build something in Japan. I mean, you would have probably heard the news, like, India and Japan wants to send like 5 lakh people from.
Yeah, I saw that on an
Exactly.
Instagram post. I'm like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is all this? The
exactly.
Japanese, they're not gonna like that though. I feel like
I,
it's a necessity,
it's
but I don't think they're gonna like that. Like the
I
locals,
maybe, but with my experience of staying in Japan, they're very friendly with
they are, but to
with
settle,
I mean, I've met a lot of Indians there, and they're like pretty comfortable with it. But I don't know when like 5 lakh people go there, how the reaction would be.
I hope this doesn't get you cancelled. But like, I feel like the Japanese, they're not nice. They're kind. There's a
Oh,
big difference.
yeah, they're kind and polite. Yeah,
Yeah, they're just kind. They're not nice. I genuinely don't feel like they're
yeah,
nice. Like they're not fully nice. I feel like what they portray is not who they are.
yeah. I don't know.
Because if you just date it back to some of like, just if you go back in time,
Uh huh.
you know, just if you
I get
look
it. I
at
get it.
history,
I get it.
I don't know. So like, how is there such a stark contrast between how they were historically, that being in like the wars, etc., versus today where they're all nice, nice, nice. I think they're not nice. They're kind.
Yeah,
That's just my personal
maybe.
thing
Yeah.
on
Uh,
Japan.
True.
But yeah.
So one reason being that, and they really want some talent pipeline to start running the country as well. And of course, naturally, when you go and ask people, we'll be a talent engine. That's one way you get to help people. And one of like our long-term goals is probably to get like a talent funnel with top VC firms, like A16Z maybe one day, who knows? But some top VC firms like A16Z or somebody like them. Though A16Z has people called scouts, right? People like founders. They need not be associated with A16Z directly, or they don't have to be a partner over there. They can just be a founder who's doing their startup and running their company. But on the side, if they meet cool founders, they can just recommend them to like A16Z. That's how A16Z has a talent funnel. And there's like this almost the same model. It's just that we work closely with the east side.
So do you think you could technically be sponsored by venture capital funds?
That's why the sponsorships.
That's the sponsor. Okay, now it sort of makes sense. It's just like what would they get in return is still kind of like
That depends.
confusing.
That depends
But
going
yeah,
forward. Even we are uncertain. They are uncertain. It's
this
just
is a new model technically.
it's a new model. It's a new model.
This is not done before,
Yeah,
which is why you're having difficulty sort of really
exactly.
explaining it.
Exactly. It's not explaining it. It's part of it's matter of talking with metrics. That's going to be hard for us currently at this stage because we are still in the process. We haven't seen the outcome of it. Maybe the Mumbai Film Festival
And
was
I'm
good.
guessing you just stumbled upon this. You didn't sort of
Yeah,
intentionally get here.
we just stumbled upon it after hosting hackathons.
Yeah.
That was the trail how we started it. Not something which we randomly came up or went researching it.
Hmm.
It just happened to reflect back on how we should get talent and just follow the same path in just a different model.
So far, I'm just asking questions out of my curiosity, which is more on like the LP side.
Fair.
What do the contracts look like? What are you guys actually doing, right? But then if I wanted to switch it up a bit, I'm likely to have more questions on this side. But if I wanted to switch it up, how are you getting high quality founders to apply? What is your deal flow for quality applicants?
One, we do not outright say we will invest in you. And second, we give them the life what they expect, which is most of the founders I would have watched social network, and that's what they anticipate to build in a community, right? And when we say them, you get the community access, you get to be part of like these elite founders. That's something which draws towards them, and partly some people maybe for grants and everything else, not questionable, but that's some way where we deal flow it, and we have like this cut through like very slim cut people whom we take. Even if there's like 1,000 people, we'll only select 20 people.
But then how are you getting all of them to apply? What's the marketing?
So
obviously, like you're saying this, right? Like you're saying that we don't outright invest in you. It's more for like curating a vibe, like social network vibe. But where are you getting them? Like, where are they coming from?
Exactly. This early this year when we pivoted the model, raised a fund. The first thing what we did was I went across this 15 different cities in India and hosted mini founder brunches and lunches and dinners. So I did this like I went across like this 15 different cities in 9 days, hosted breakfast in Chennai, dinner in Kochi the same day, next 2 days in two
And
different
how do you get
cities.
founders to show up there?
Twitter.
Okay.
Just put it on Twitter saying, "Hey, I want to meet founders." I got connected with a few universities,
Hmm.
and they showed up. And once you start with one city, you can just keep growing it like with posts, with people posting it, word of mouth gets keep going, and we started like getting more and more number of people registering as we went up and up and up. And Delhi, though we had 120 people to show up. Bangalore had 90 people. Yeah, we also did not focus only on tier one cities. We went to tier two and tier three cities. We went to Guwahati,
Hmm.
and we had like not significantly people, but we had like 15 people who showed up, which is really good for like a remote state like Guwahati, who's trying to show the builder culture there.
Yeah.
And Jaipur, Indore, Chandigarh, different locations we went and we started talking to founder.
Where are you from?
Bangalore,
Like native.
born and brought up here,
Okay.
family here, everything. Bangalore boy.
Yeah.
So that's how we started the word of mouth, very local. And then from there, we started asking people if you're interested, just apply. And we had like 700 applications for the Bangalore house, which we plan to host it like in May. And we had 700 people who apply for it. We just selected 15 people out of it.
15 people for the house though? How big is the house?
It was like a villa. Like it had like 2 floors with 6 bedrooms and
So then were
two
people
people.
sharing the rooms and all?
Two people in
Okay.
rooms. It's like one used to have a co-founder, so it used to be like
Mm.
easy
Yeah.
enough for them to like
Yeah.
stay in the rooms. But it was fun. Out of the 700 people
What have you learned
uh,
from
from the
hosting these
hosting hacker
houses?
houses, one being there's enough talent across India. It's just that you need to go searching for it, and you
What's the best way to search for it?
what I did, I guess,
Literally go, okay,
I literally
that's one way.
went and just spoke to them, invited few people, asked them to apply, and
Yeah.
just brought them in. That was like one of the best way we have done marketing. And after that, everything happened
It's like
effortless.
asking, how do I get a customer? It's like you're going out,
You
hey, do you want this? Hey,
exactly,
do you want this? Literally on the street, it feels like.
exactly. We just did the same thing. It's just that we did it at a higher velocity of going to each and every city and each and every tier two and tier three
This was
cities.
when, what, you're in the 12th grade?
Yeah, just doing my board exams.
Oh, okay, great.
Just after my board exams.
Nice.
So I had like a little free time, so I just started working on
Dude, you
this.
should drop out.
um, Not really. I don't know. We'll see where things go.
Regardless, okay. Back to your learnings.
My learnings is one being you can find talent anywhere,
Yeah,
and second learning out of the hacker house was media is your superpower.
of course.
S- I I'm not a media guy again. I was not in front of like
Looks like you're about to become one soon.
I don't know, maybe, but I used to not do any videos or anything. The reason I got to know that media is such an influential fact is after the video that went viral of the hacker house which I hosted in Bangalore. I'm not sure if you have seen the video, but
Like, is it an Instagram reel on
yeah, it was an
Localhost?
Instagram reel. So it was Caleb who came to the house and he wore his Ray-Ban Meta glasses and we just shot a unfiltered, unhinged way. The house was not cleaned at all. It just showed the exact hacker house vibes. There were like stacks of Coca-Cola bottle in the at behind. People working out from their bed, dining room, some guy fixing hardware, some code running on the TV. Very unhinged, unfiltered. We shot this video we just Caleb posted it on Instagram and it had collectively over 35 million views, like across different
Was
channels.
it like some YouTube? Was it a YouTube video as well?
I think it would have ended up on YouTube,
Okay.
not sure, but it was first on Twitter, ended up going to Instagram, ended up going across different news channels. It became a headline in June.
They start with something like, "Look at this hacker house in
Yeah,
Bangalore."
exactly that one.
Okay,
So that
okay.
that went phenomenally viral, and that's when I realized storytelling and media just goes hand in hand. And I did not understand why Hardeep was so stressing
How
about it.
did Hardeep come into the
Yeah,
picture?
so I was going to say this, but then we went across the fun part, so I kind of missed that part.
Yeah.
So Jan this year, we met Hardeep and we explained him like, we're going to the hackers model and this is our plan. And Hardeep had quit residency. He co-founded residency, by the way. So he didn't want to work with residency anymore. He was a little burnt out of running too many hackers across like 30 countries. And he wanted to like focus more on media division, doing videos for founders, all the other creative aspects. And Kay met Hardeep and during Build Space, and ever since they've been like good friends. It's that this early this year they ended up meeting, and Hardeep wanted to. We gave Hardeep a grant of $60,000 and asked him to fly to 30 countries and shoot videos of the most underdog founders in each country. So he did like South America, North America, Europe, and during Europe, he was like little exhausted. He got the idea for AI Film Festival in France, came back to India for like 2.5 months, and was here. And that's how Hardeep came into the picture, and he joined us full time.
Mm.
And he leads the entire media side, a community division.
I think you definitely need a bit of media to get
Exactly.
more
And
quality
and
deal for
me
that.
and her K being more on the finance and the operations part, definitely we would need a person to handle this side. So Hardeep is
Where do
the
you see
best
yourself
person.
going? Like, which side do you think you will lean more into? Do you think you will end up becoming an incubator that hosts these houses, or will you end up becoming a
A venture fund.
funnel for
Uh-huh.
venture talent, like finding out the VC's talent?
So we want to do hacker houses, but not houses anymore. So now, right now, in India, we're not doing hacker houses. We stopped hacker houses in India.
Why?
The reason is we want to do something like a lab where people come work in a large community and they get access to anything like a hardware lab and a co-working space.
Yeah, a co-working space would bang because you'd get to see who like leaves last. But
That's fun. We can do a model there. Last to leave wins
you
the game.
know, there's some of these like these bankers. I think I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a story that they put like in offices, they
Uh-huh.
put like CCTV in the parking. Like they bought all the CCTV cameras
Uh-huh.
of the parking, and they just saw like which teams leave last, and they started investing in those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, that's crazy. Might as well let's do for the office then.
yeah.
Anyway, so we are heading towards that. So we are going to build a lab now in Bangalore.
What do you mean by lab?
A lab is so
A
why
co-working space.
no, the reason why we're calling it a lab is the headline for this is Media X Startup Lab. The reason is we are going to give them media support, which is going to be like a podcast room, same. Second is going to be a recording studio for their demos
Sure.
and all of those basic stuff for like the media side. And of course, the AI filmmakers, editors, and all of those. So that's one media division in the office space. And second is co-working space. So all the portfolio companies of whomever
Ah, so
we
it's basically a media plus co-working space, and you're calling it a lab.
and a hardware lab. There's a lab for
Okay.
hardware also. So
And where are you gonna build this?
we're right now building it near in between Itanagar and Koromangala.
And how much is it costing you guys?
Um,
Renting?
no. We're like renting it for a year to see how it performs. Based on that, we'll take a call. But yeah, significant money right now going there out of the sponsorship amount.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, so the hardware lab will have people which require like 3D printers, laser cutting,
And will
inks.
anyone be able to come in here?
Um, so the way we are looking at structuring this would be partly invite only, which would be from either me or K, and we'll vet them and then invite. Second, our portfolio companies can come and work anytime they want, and they'll also have a designated desk over there. But when I say
So
portfolio
it's kind of like an incubator in a way.
we
Like
could
for
call it
example,
incubator.
think of South Park Commons, right? And their founders,
Yeah.
they go to their
Wait,
offices.
the Sarfa comes also get people who are not invested also to come and work there.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
But I know that their portfolio companies definitely
Yeah, I mean that's
swing to
like a
that.
standard. Every
Yeah.
ops and VCs face do that. So partially we're also going to do that. All the investments we did in India, those founders can come and work. They get a designated team space for their team to work out of it. And of course the media division, which I told you. And lastly, instead of the hacker house model where people apply to stay and build in the house, it'll be more like you come and stay and
It's
build
just
in the house.
perpetual. Like you
Yeah,
can come and no.
it's like another infrastructure division. That's it. It's just that you don't have a residency now. That's like now we are targeting Bangalore founders, but in case we find any exceptional founders out of Bangalore or like anywhere in India, we would like do something to help them out with a
What's the plan
foundation.
for the next raise? You'll definitely need more.
We are probably gonna raise sometime soon, but this time we're focusing on long term, not something like
And
every
you should
year
probably
we're gonna
change
do.
your structure.
And we're gonna change the structure exactly,
Yeah.
because
Get some fees.
yeah, agreed with that part, and also to aim higher, we need some higher demand of something which we have to label, right? In
You
terms,
you have something unique. I think you're a little bit all over the place.
yeah,
Like you're
agreed, 100%, totally. The reason why being that is because we were experimenting this entire year.
yeah, I think now you have a clear
Now we
picture
have a
of
clear
where you
picture.
want to go. You just gotta fucking write this shit down and get your goals like very crystal clear to yourself. I think you know it.
Yep,
It's just slightly mushed. You gotta like define this shit. Be like, this is what we are. Have give like a very clear definition so that like in a minute I'm like, okay, so this is not the typical venture firm. This is slightly different. This is your edge here. And now with that edge, you can definitely go and raise. You have a unique angle.
exactly. Now we are heading towards this direction, which we are like totally firm on.
I feel like I understand you guys
now,
a
now,
lot
now.
better now.
Yeah, now, like if when I say people, like the last story, people tend to get confused because we were also in a confused state of mind doing multiple experiment. Which door opens, we would end up going to that.
You've got to fix your like messaging right now though,
Yeah. Now,
especially around brand. Because if I go to Localhost or like on Instagram or something, I'll just see like we host, hacker houses, yada yada yada.
yeah, since now it's like under construction, we are like
I think
slightly
you should
clear.
directly be like,
Now we're gonna focus more on the lab side,
you
SE,
gotta go
affiliates,
venture lab.
venture labs. Fair.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna like go
You
all in on.
and I think you definitely should put like venture out there so you know like founders should be able to know that they're raising from you, in a way, or at least that it's a
Is
possibility.
is is that something in the positive way? Because the reason why we don't
I
outright
feel
say
like if you
venture,
don't like show it,
uh-huh,
then won't you get a lot of folks that don't want to raise at all, and they're like, you know,
I will be like a grifter is that.
you'll just end up being a co-working space. What's the difference between a co-working
Okay,
space and.
okay, yeah, fair.
I feel like what you should do is you should give spaces
Mm-hmm.
like share, in co-working spaces, what is the traditional model? Like they give seats,
That
etc.,
is like
right?
WeWork, bro. There's gonna be like another WeWork then.
Yeah. So what you should do is you should have seats, but it's application based seats. There's no charge.
I mean, that's the same
That's
model which we're
basically,
going to do.
yeah,
That's the same model. Like hacker houses were also based on the rooms and the number of people coming here. Same model, except it's not for rooms, it's for the seats and the
yeah,
table.
yeah, yeah.
Same model.
That's what.
It's just that there's no residence part this time.
And then there's potential investments,
Yep, and
but you
potential
need
investment.
that like out there,
We're gonna
like
do
the
it now.
investment
We're
part.
gonna do it now
Yeah.
because we have that hunch and the solid traction, which we're now comfortable in saying out. So I think that's fair to say it now. But now we're heading towards this direction. And the reason why we're doing a hardware lab is when we did the houses, we realized that a lot of hardware people, it was just hard for them to build anything. Hardware itself is hard, and we thought the infrastructure is just totally impossible to build.
Yeah.
And they did build in 30 days a cursor for hardware, robot, an AR glass out of like few, few uh, like few offices which print and does the work, right? But now, if you have the infrastructure within the space, it's going to get a lot of talent because of their pure ambition and passion to build something.
Mm.
And that's where we have like a dedicated space for like hardware lab, co-working space, portfolio spaces, and a media division. So all in all, it's like that's why we call it a startup lab.
If I didn't ask this before, what is the plan for the next raise again?
Next phase,
Yeah.
probably expanding the lab models rather than the houses.
Yeah, yeah. And then
You,
how much are you raising again? When?
not fixed on an amount.
You
But
should.
we should. I'm looking somewhere like over like 2-3 mil this time. Like not in the case division
You
because
could aim for like 10.
it's just
You
like we
need
don't
investments
have.
though. You need slight
Yeah, yeah,
track record,
but
which is
but
the
but
case.
but the thing is, if you do it, if you do labs in like these spaces in like cities we are running already, is low cost but high ROI in terms
Yeah.
of talent. So one reason why which does not matter on the division of like paying a rent or anything, but of course you're fair with saying 10 mil that could give us a runway for like next 2.5-3 years maybe if we end up only going investments thesis. But as of now, which is going slowly. Maybe we will end up raising 10 mils, maybe sometime sooner.
And then why don't you think other big VCs are doing this? If you think you're onto something special, you must ask, well, why haven't they done it? Right? Why isn't A16Z done it? Why do you think SPC hasn't done it here?
A16 is actually doing it. Like they just announced new media.
A16Z,
Yeah.
like, yeah, but that's media. That's not
So,
like
so,
labs, like physical, like
so
co-working spaces.
yeah, yeah. So, what new media is, they're gonna help you support those companies to grow within the portfolio, and they're gonna help you do that. It's the same thing we are doing. Is just that you have a dedicated space. The reason why A16Z does not do is because they have a lot of portfolio companies running, and they can't just fit everybody, every person or every team here. And
They
same,
can.
maybe they can,
I feel
maybe
like they could. Well, like, dude, they have an
they would,
insane
but
amount of capital.
I
They
would
can do it like that
I
for
would
their
say the
portcos.
best example for this would be Founders Inc. in SF.
Yeah.
That's the model which we're probably going for.
Hmm.
That would be a better example than A16Z.
Then what if Founders Inc. came here?
Why would they do?
Why would they not?
Because the reason why Founders Inc. will not come to India is they glorify SF. Their major
You're right.
marketing scheme is SF. Apart from if it was not in SF, if it was in Paris, nobody would have gone. But the reason why we're doing it in Paris is it attracts local young founders to get access to the startup pool and then accelerate from there. Station F is a great example in Paris. It incubates a lot of startups. It's like this railway house with a
Hmm.
lot of companies building in between, and maybe having a lab in Station F.
Bangalore is ripe, so
It's
sure.
ripe. It
There must be
also
other
attracts
spots.
people who can't go to the Bay Area to Bangalore in India,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's like a best talent pool for like India. And India is like what, a huge market space for like anything, and in that demand there are many ripe founders coming out. So it totally made a fair sense to have one in Bangalore, and maybe like for Europe, Paris is as the AI hub. So two divisions which we're probably going to focus on. US, of course, sometime soon in future, once we have like solid tractions here, because US has way too many more right now. Is just not something
Hmm.
specifically to go and target.
Side question: why do you think A16Z is the only one with a new media division?
They understand that media is not a commodity. It's something which is essential while growing. They understand distribution. Why do you think they invested 15 million in Cluely?
And then do you see that Eric Totenberg and his team
Mm-hmm.
came up with this, um,
Fellowship?
yeah, for the media.
Yeah. Distribution is everything, and that's their moat right now. The reason Mark keeps saying this on Twitter: America dynamism, distribution, media, AI. These are the four theses they focus on. And media is something which they've been doing.
Which company was that they backed? Like this very weird ass company that they backed.
Truly.
No, no, no. Of course, clearly, of course, which is weird ass. Right.
That is too vast.
I'm talking about this around like bot farms.
Bot farms?
Yeah, some Indian dude and stuff.
Bot farm.
They, yeah, they just
Okay,
backed
that
like
LinkedIn bot.
no, no. I'll send that to you if I find it. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was one of the more interesting backs, which I would traditionally would never get back, but it's in the media space.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen ACNG trend from mid of 2024, it has one of the most weird backings ever since. They're like chasing people with virality, people which has the upper edge in
It clearly
distribution.
is not doing that well anymore, though.
Exactly. Now they're not
It's
doing
sure
it.
there's distribution, but now they're an AI
Now
note
they're
taker.
doing it.
Poor guy.
I mean, fair, maybe one of their
I
bets.
hope it's working well for them,
It's
right?
hope. I mean, yeah. Roy is a smart guy, so
He does seem smart. I just
he's smart.
isn't it his first time in product now? I don't know if he has a track record, but yeah.
No, he doesn't have a track record.
Yeah, well, it's
He's
first
it's
time.
still
He's figuring
interview
shit
scoring.
out.
It was
You know, that dude should have just opened a fucking SF media company. Like, he would be making money.
to be fair, everybody used to quote unquote say Explody
Clearly,
as
it's
a
a
media
media
company,
company. That guy should just open a fucking media company.
and they moved to
But yeah,
product now.
yeah, they're moving to New York because did you
It's
see that
yeah, I saw.
around zoning rules?
That's the issue with
Yeah.
everywhere, every places. That's the reason why we're not gonna have any.
Are there zoning rules here?
It should be.
Whatever. I don't know about
You
that.
can't sleep in a commercial property.
I don't know all that shit. What are you on about? I don't know. I didn't hear that. Um, yeah, man. I think that's pretty much it. It's been great chatting to you.
Uh-huh.
You're pretty far and you have a lot of knowledge for your age. Like, dude, it's not worth going to college. That would just be me, like, telling you this. Like, you'd be fine, dude, anywhere. Like, what backup do you want? Like, I'd hire you. It's
Mm,
fine.
maybe just a safety net for my parents.
There's
No,
nothing that you're gonna get from it.
that's the
I think
only.
you should go all in. Like, that's one thing. You cannot be focused on like several things. Because if you think you have something, dude, you have something. Go do it. You have vision.
Yeah, fair. Needed.
That's all.
Yeah.